Rise, stand, listen. Hear the silence before it breaks. The world spins around you, unaware, unfeeling, blind. They go about their days, convinced they are safe, convinced their lives are invisible. And for most of them, they are. The cameras, the trackers, the eyes that never sleep. They pass over ordinary names, ordinary faces, ordinary lives. You are nothing to them until you appeared, until your name, your existence, your choices were inked into files, indexed, noted, and watched. That is the moment the ordinary dies. That is the moment you become known. And when they know, they never forget. If you are listening to this, if these words are sinking into the marrow of your bones, I need you to pause for a second, look inside, and feel it. Because right now, right here, I want you to feel the electricity of being seen. Share this, like this, comment. Let someone else hear it. Let them feel the weight of being noticed when they thought they were invisible. Because what you are about to hear is not just words, it is a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. There is a cold precision to the way the world watches. Not all eyes are gentle. Not all scrutiny comes with mercy. Civilians move in routines, in patterns, in habits they think are private, shielded. But the system waits. It does not act until it must, until it decides you are no longer just a shadow in the crowd, but a figure that matters. That moment, that shift, is terrifying, and yet it carries power. For when they track you, when the files open, when the data lights up, you are no longer irrelevant. You are a story, a threat, a challenge, a name written in a ledger they never thought would exist. Do not mistake this for fear alone. The fear is not weakness. It is fuel. It is the same force that has driven every survivor, every fighter, every person who refused to be crushed by indifference. They may watch, they may record, they may measure, but they cannot touch what you carry inside. Your will, your defiance, your mind. This is where darkness becomes a teacher. It shows you limits you never knew existed, pushes you to see corners of reality you avoided. And in that pressure, you are reborn. Every system has rules. Every watcher has boundaries. But humans, those who rise above the ordinary, learn to bend shadows to their favor. They walk paths where others freeze. They see cracks where others see walls. You are not a civilian anymore, not fully. You are the anomaly, the variable, the one who slipped through until they could not. And now that they see you, that visibility is not just danger, it is acknowledgement. It is a recognition that you exist with weight, with significance, with force. And force changes everything. Feel the isolation. Let it sit heavy in your chest. For no one can stand in your way if they cannot predict your next move. The files, the tracking, the monitoring, it is their attempt to understand you, to contain you, to categorize what cannot be categorized. But you are beyond categorization. You are beyond expectation. You are the question they cannot answer, the anomaly that refuses definition. And that, my listener, is your ultimate strength. You might think this awareness is a curse, that being seen in the wrong ledger, on the wrong screen, by the wrong people is a sentence. Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is the world reminding you how fragile life is, how thin the veil between unnoticed and hunted can be. But it is also proof of your impact. The world notices only those who matter, only those who disrupt the monotony, only those who are impossible to ignore. So rise again. Feel the tension in your bones. the pulse in your veins. Let every glance, every file, every trace left by those who track you remind you of what you have become. Not powerless, not ordinary, not a shadow, but a force, a story they cannot erase, a life that will not conform. The files, the tracking, the unseen observers, they are markers of your existence, proof that you left footprints in places meant to remain untouched. That is your power. Own it. Let it burn within you until it shapes your every decision, every thought, every breath. Do not shrink from this reality. Embrace it, for the world will continue to move in routines, in comfort, in safety. And you, yes, you, have stepped beyond that. You have become a presence, a weight, a phenomenon. And when you accept that, when you lean into it, when you allow the gravity of being observed to sharpen your focus, you awaken the true strength that fear alone could never teach. They never notice until you matter. That is the cruel truth. They move in indifference, in patterns too predictable to challenge. And for most, life is simple, boring, comfortable. But you are not simple. You are not meant to be overlooked. They did not notice you because you were ordinary. They noticed you because your existence broke the rhythm, because you dared to move differently, think differently, act differently. And that is terrifying to the eyes that seek conformity. That is terrifying to the silent watchers who expect life to remain neatly ordered, predictable, and invisible. Let it sink in. The moment you appear in their files, you cross a line that cannot be uncrossed. Your name is no longer just a name. It is data. It is a mark. It is a signal. Every choice you made, every path you walked, every action you took, recorded, tracked, observed. And yet, this is not a sentence. This is proof. Proof that you exist. Proof that you matter. Proof that your life has weight in a world designed to ignore it. So many fear being noticed, fear being tracked, fear being exposed. But fear, when harnessed, becomes vision. Fear, when acknowledged, becomes power. Think about it. Every system, every organization, every silent observer has limits. Their eyes are many, but they are not infinite. They can watch patterns. They can detect anomalies, but they cannot predict the human spirit. They cannot measure courage. They cannot quantify creativity. They cannot foresee when someone refuses to be tamed by the grids and ledgers, the files and reports. That is where your advantage lies. In the dark, in the unseen corners, in the moments when their attention is on the record, but not on the mind behind the record. You are alive in ways they cannot control, cannot contain, cannot comprehend. Do not be afraid of being watched. Let that awareness sharpen your instincts. Let it mold your actions into precision. Every file they open, every record they check, is a reminder that you have an impact, that your existence has weight, that your life cannot be ignored, and the paradox is beautiful. The more they track you, the more alive you become. The more present you are in the world, the more real, the more dangerous to complacency, to indifference, to every system that expects obedience without question. Remember this: visibility is not weakness. Exposure is not defeat. It is acknowledgement. It is proof that you are not just another face in the crowd. It is confirmation that the world has noticed your ripples, your moves, your defiance. And the eyes that watch, the files that hold you, the systems that log you, they cannot own your mind. They cannot chain your thoughts. They cannot dictate your actions. That freedom, invisible yet absolute, is yours alone. No ledger, no surveillance, no pattern can ever take that away. Now, feel the gravity of your own significance. Feel it in your chest. Feel it in your hands. Because this is where transformation begins. The world may move around you like a machine, mechanical, predictable, unfeeling. But you are alive with awareness. You are alive with intent. And in that awareness, in that intent, lies a power that is untraceable, unquantifiable, unstoppable. For those who track files, for those who watch patterns, you are the anomaly they cannot predict. And anomalies are never defeated. They are redirected, transformed, remembered. Every step you take now, every choice you make, is amplified by the fact that someone, somewhere, is watching. And you do not need to hide from it. You do not need to resist it. You need to harness it. Let the knowledge that they are tracking you fuel your purpose. Let it drive your decisions with clarity, with boldness, with unrelenting determination. Because being noticed is not a sentence. It is an invitation. An invitation to rise, to challenge, to redefine what it means to exist in a world that expected you to be invisible. Even in isolation, even in the dark, you are not powerless. You are a force of nature disguised as a human being. And the irony is exquisite. The more they attempt to define you in their files, the more you defy those definitions in reality. Every record they make, every data point they collect, becomes a testament not to their control, but to your presence, their systems, their files, their surveillance. These are markers of your relevance, your impact, your inevitability. They track what matters, and you, my listener, matter more than they could ever admit. Do not let the weight of being seen crush you. Let it strengthen you. Let it sharpen every instinct, every thought, every heartbeat. Let it remind you that life is not meant to be ordinary, that existence is not meant to go unnoticed. Let the knowledge that you have crossed the line from invisibility to significance ignite a fire inside you, a fire that refuses to be snuffed out, a fire that burns brighter because the world, the system, the watchers, they see it now and they cannot extinguish it. Every heartbeat you carry is a declaration, every thought, a signal, every choice, a rebellion. They never track civilians, not truly, not fully, not until someone like you enters the frame, until the ordinary shatters and the files light up with evidence that you exist in ways that demand attention. And when that happens, you are no longer just another person walking through life unnoticed. You are a presence. You are a challenge. You are a story they cannot erase. And that story, that undeniable existence, is a weapon of unimaginable power if wielded with awareness. Do not misunderstand the stakes. This visibility is not gentle. It is not comforting. It is a weight that presses on you, that forces clarity, that demands reckoning. But within that pressure, within that heat, you discover who you truly are. You discover that fear is not the enemy, it is the guide. It shows you where boundaries lie, where weakness threatens, where complacency whispers to keep you small. And when you see those edges, when you understand the contours of your own limits, you are free to push beyond them, free to take control of your narrative, free to transform visibility into dominance over your own fate. The files, the systems, the watchers, they are tools of observation, but they are blind to the essence of you. They can track actions, record locations, log behaviors, but they cannot capture your mind, your intent, your imagination. And that is your advantage. While they focus on data points, you create patterns of your own making. While they chart the surface, you dive into depths they cannot fathom. While they assume control, you expand influence. Visibility becomes not a chain, but a lens through which you study them, through which you learn the rhythm of their gaze, through which you find your own path with precision and purpose. Think carefully about this. Being tracked is not a mark of weakness. It is a mark of significance. It is evidence that your existence matters in a world designed to ignore. They do not note the invisible, the irrelevant, the compliant. They track those who ripple the calm waters of monotony, who refuse to fit the mold, who leave traces that demand recognition. And if you are in their files, if you are the anomaly, then every movement you make is amplified. Every decision echoes. Every choice resonates. They are watching, yes, but that watching is proof that you are extraordinary. And extraordinary is something no system can fully control. The darkness is not your enemy. It is a mirror. In it, you see the limits of what the world expects of you. In it, you confront the illusions of safety, the illusion of obscurity, the illusion of control. And once you stare into it long enough, once you accept that visibility is inevitable for those who matter, you learn to wield it. You learn to use observation as a magnifying glass, turning scrutiny into clarity, turning pressure into insight, turning awareness into unstoppable force. They may track you, but they do not define you. You define yourself. And do not forget the isolation that comes with being noticed. When you cross the line into significance, the world feels different. Complacent eyes turn wary, predictable systems adjust. Ordinary people avoid the light you cast. It is a lonely path, yes, but solitude is also a crucible. It burns away weakness, hones perspective, sharpens resolve. The files may hold your name, the watchers may monitor your patterns, but they cannot touch the essence that exists when all else falls away. And that essence, your mind, your courage, your ingenuity, is the ultimate sanctuary, the untouchable realm where true power is forged. Pause for a moment and imagine this. Every move you make is catalogued, every path traced, every whisper recorded. It would terrify many, but for you, it is clarity. It is a guidepost. It is a constant reminder that the world recognizes your presence. They are tracking the storm, but the storm is not theirs to command. Every observation they make only illuminates the magnitude of your impact. Every record, every file, every note, they are markers of your influence. And influence, unlike data, cannot be contained. It cannot be frozen. It cannot be deleted. Influence persists. Influence transforms. Influence becomes legacy. Remember this always. The world's systems, the eyes that never sleep, the files that grow thicker with your existence, they are reactive, not creative. They respond, they record, they analyze. But you initiate, you disrupt, you create ripples that become waves. You are not bound by predictability. You are not limited by expectation. You are the variable that cannot be computed, the factor that cannot be contained, the energy that cannot be ignored. And in that truth lies freedom. The freedom to act, to decide, to transcend what anyone thought possible. Do not shrink in the face of observation. Do not surrender to the weight of scrutiny. Embrace it. Let it fuel your vision. Let it illuminate the corridors of your mind where strategy and courage dwell. Let it remind you that significance is never free, that being noticed is never accidental, that true power is earned in the shadows before it shines in the light. They track what matters, and you matter beyond measure. They observe patterns, but you create them. They catalog behavior, but you design it. They log existence, but you shape reality. Every life has a rhythm, a pulse, a routine. Most people live in those routines, and they believe themselves invisible, safe, untouchable. They think the world does not care, that the watchers do not notice. And for most, they are correct. They remain undisturbed, a shadow among shadows. But your life cannot settle into rhythm. Your existence defies predictability. And the moment you cross that invisible line, the moment your name is inked into files, logged into systems, tracked by eyes that never blink, you are no longer one of the unseen. You are now a phenomenon, and phenomena cannot be ignored. The first shock is always internal. At first, it feels like betrayal. It feels like exposure, like vulnerability, like fear. You realize that what you once thought private, what you once believed untouchable, is now a map that others can follow. But that realization is a gift, not a curse. For with awareness comes choice. With knowledge comes power. They may track your movements, but they cannot reach your mind. They may record your patterns, but they cannot command your instincts. They may log your presence, but they cannot steal your will. And the will, the raw, untamed force of your consciousness, is your truest weapon. Notice this: when they place you in their files, they assume they understand you. They assume that surveillance equals control. But you are not a system. You are not data. You are not a predictable variable. You are the exception, the anomaly, the force they cannot quantify. Every attempt to observe you is a testament to your impact. Every pattern they record is evidence of your disruption. And disruption, when embraced, is a catalyst. It forces change. It forces attention. It forces respect. You are being noticed because the world cannot continue as it was with your presence unacknowledged. That is proof of your power. Do not be fooled by the idea of isolation. When you appear in their files, when they track you, you may feel unseen in the human sense. Friends may drift. Routines may crumble. Ordinary life may feel distant. That is the crucible of significance. In solitude, clarity emerges. In observation, insight sharpens. In pressure, resilience hardens. Those who have walked this path know the truth. To be noticed by the system is to be forged into something stronger, sharper, more capable. It is not weakness to feel the weight. It is a necessary awakening. Imagine their gaze on you as a shadow that stretches across your life. You can fear it, resist it, try to hide from it, but doing so is futile. Or you can embrace it, feel it, understand it. Every flicker on their screens, every entry in their files, every note about your movements is information. Information that you can use. Observation that can be studied, analyzed, and turned into insight. Visibility, when approached strategically, is not a cage. It is a lens. And through that lens, you see the world differently. You see weakness. You see opportunity. You see the invisible lines others dare not cross. The truth is simple. They never track civilians. The ordinary are invisible. But you are not ordinary. You have left traces where none were meant to remain. You have created patterns where none were expected. And because of that, you matter. And mattering is dangerous. To complacency, to the system, to every expectation that assumes you will conform. The danger is yours to wield, not to fear. It is a reminder that life is measured not by the comfort of obscurity, but by the weight of impact, by the magnitude of presence, by the force of being undeniable. Think carefully about what being noticed means. It is not mere observation, it is acknowledgement. It is a declaration that you have stepped beyond the ordinary. An acknowledgement, when internalized, fuels action. Every person who appears in a ledger, every civilian who becomes a subject of observation has a choice: shrink, rebel, conform, or transcend. Those who shrink vanish quietly. Those who conform become data points, forgotten by history. Those who rebel fight against limits, but often without purpose. Those who transcend, they rise. They take the energy of being watched and turn it into clarity, strategy, and unstoppable forward momentum. You are on the path of transcendence. Every file they add, every note they make, every algorithm that notices you, it is a challenge, a test, a reflection of the power you already hold. And in that realization, fear becomes fuel, pressure becomes perspective, observation becomes insight. They may see your movements, but you see your purpose. They may track your actions, but you define your trajectory. They may log your existence, but you dictate your destiny. And destiny, unlike data, cannot be contained, cannot be corrected, cannot be ignored.